Good morning, this is Ms. Billerbeck, and we're going to talk about the meaning of percentages. And if you hear all that sound in the background, that's 300 goats eating weeds. All right, so a percentage is a fraction with 100 as the denominator. So we have 38% equals 38 over 100. So that's how we would write that. If we want to write it as a decimal, that would be 0.38. So 100% would be 100 over 100, which equals 1. So let's look at a few examples. I have to admit, the little kids out there are so cute. So let's express as percentages. So we have 3 over 4. Well, we could do this in two ways. We could say, well, I know that 4 times 25 is 100. And if I do 25 over 25, that's really 1. So I'm not changing that at all. And then when I multiply, that becomes 75 over 100, which is 75.75, which is 75%. So what about this one? Well, we have to multiply these and add that. So this equals 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is going to be 8 over 3. Okay, so that one's a little harder. So what we're going to have to do is use the dry erase calculator. So top dog goes in the house. So we take the 8 here and we divide it by 3. So we know that there's 2 8s in 3. We put a 6 here and subtract. We drop a 0 down. So there are 6 3s in 20. Subtract, and we drop another 0 down. We have, oops, that's a 0. So again, we have a 6. So we see as a decimal, this is 2.6, and it's going to keep going like that. So we can say 2.67. As if we round, and when we round, we're going to change this to a little tilde. So that means approximately. So approximately 2.67. So if we want to multiply that by 100%, that's going to move the decimal over 2 spots, and that becomes 267%. If you're a little lost about that, let's do this on the board. So we have 2.67, and we multiply by 100. So we have a 0, another 0, and then 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 6, or 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. And we're going to move this over 2 decimal places to there. So that we have 267%. Okay, for this one, it's already in a decimal, so all we have to do is multiply by 100%. So that's going to move this decimal over in 2 spots. So we have 87.1%. Okay. All right, next, we want to express these percentages as decimals. Okay, so this one has already been multiplied by 100%. So to get rid of that, percent sign, we're going to divide by 100% to see what kind of decimal we have. Well, when we do that, that makes this go this direction. So we have 0034 as a decimal. Okay, you might wonder, wait a second, what was that? So let's use the dry erase calculator. So we have 0.34 over here, and we have 100 here. Because top dog goes in the house. So we have a decimal here. We have 0 hundreds and 3, 0 hundreds and 4. There's 3 hundreds and 340. We subtract. We drop another 0 down. There's 4 hundreds and 400. We have a 0, and that's it. So we end up with 0.0034. All right, if we do the same thing with this one, we divide it by 100%, and that cancels the percent sign. So that was also canceled here. So now we have 126 divided by 100. So if we know that if we divide it by that, we're going to have 1.26 because we're going to move the decimal 2 spots. And again, if we don't trust ourselves, we can go and do it like this. So we know that there's 100 in that. Whoops, that's the wrong spot. So there's a 100 here. So we subtract and we have 260. We drop this down. There's 2 hundreds and 260. We subtract and we drop this down. And there's 6 hundreds and 600. And we have a 0. So we have 1.26. If you know how to do it this way, that's fine. If you don't trust yourself, top dog in the house and divide by the 100. All right. So we have a company that has 50 employees and 34 of them are women. Find the percentages. So we have 34 out of 50 are female. So that makes it easy. We know if we multiply by 2 top and bottom, we get 68 over 100. So that's just 68% are women. So if we want to know how many are men, we subtract 50 minus 34, and we find that we have 16 out of 50. So if we want to make that into a percent, we're going to multiply by 2 over 2 again to get 100 on the bottom. So we have 32 over 100, and that's 32%. Now, if we have done everything right, 68 and 32 should equal 100. Okay, so there you go. So, which group has the highest percentage of students who pass the test? Well, we have students that pass the test out of 20. So let's write 13 over 20. And that's simple enough. We can multiply by 5 over 5. And that gives us 1565 over 100. So that's 65%. So this is 65% right here. So let's try this one. 15 over 24. Well, that one we're going to have to do a little work. So top dog in the house. And we have 24 here. All right, so there are 6 24s in 150. So we have 24, and then that's 12, 144, and we subtract, and we get 60. And let's see, there are 2, so that's 48. We subtract, and we get 12. We drop another 0 down here. And this gives us 5. So that gives us exactly 120. So it's 0.625. So we have 62.5%. Then we can look at this one, 16 over 25. Well, that's simple. You just multiply by 4, and you get 24. Or 64 over 100, so that's 64%. So it looks like Group A is the winning. They did better on the test than anyone else. So there you go. All right, we have 650 people attended a family day function. If 24% are men and 32% are women, and the rest are children, find the number of men, women, and children. All right, so if we set this up, so we have women are 32% out of 100%. And we know the 100% is 650. So we want to know how many women there are. So that means if we multiply by 650 on both sides, we will find out what the answer is. So women equals, and we just multiply away. So I'm going to do this quickly. You feel free to do this manually normally, but I am doing this quickly. Okay, so that gives us 208 women. Okay, so men out of 650 people, and men are 24%. So we want to keep our 24% in the same column. So we do the same thing, multiply by 650 on both sides. And we get men equals, and these cancel, by the way, if you didn't catch on. So men are going to be 0.24 times 650. So 156 men. Now, if we add up these people, that gives us 364 adults. So the rest are children. So we take 650 and subtract 364 adults. And we carry 1 from here. So we have 6, carry 1 from here, 8, and 2. So there are 2 children are 286. All right. Okay, the last example for this section, we have Alan's height is 135 centimeters, and Nicole's height is 150 centimeters. Express Alan's height as a percentage of Nicole's height. So we have 135 over 150 times 100%. All right, so top dog goes in the house. So we have 135 and 150 here. So we have 150 make two 150s is 300. And there will be 4 of those, so let's go with 8. So 0, then 40, then 120. So, oh, look at that. We could have done one more. So let's do that. So 9. So we have 0, 45, and 13. So we subtract and we get 0. So this is 0.9 times 100%. And if we add a 0 here, all we have to do is move that decimal over 2 spots. So that's 90%. Okay. If you are a little confused what I just did there, we had 0.9 and we multiplied. So that's 0 times 0 times 9. We move the decimal over 1, and there we go, 90%. All right. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye-bye.